Young people need spaces that actually work for them, safe, practical, and full of opportunity. Twamanguluka is working with the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture to make that happen through the Youth Centre Revitalisation Project. Now this week, they hosted a stakeholders engagement in Windhoek to define exactly how the project will get there. To talk to us more on this project, we are joined by Dr. Marie-Jean Ndimbira Rosner, the founding CEO of Twamanguluka.
Okay, the theory of change model, the reason we had a whole session around it was to create a roadmap, right? It helps create a roadmap for a project, and and then we can measure what activities are going to take place, what are the outputs, outcomes, long-term impact. And it really answers a fundamental question, which is, what are we going to change? What impact are we trying to create? Who must be involved? Where must this take place? What are the assumptions? And how will we measure it?
I mean, given that I understand the session already took place, right? The first session. Yeah. Perhaps just talk to us. I mean, the focus is on young people, right?
Correct,
so, but talk to us about some of the gaps or challenges that came up during this session. The current youth model, centered model.
Okay, so there was a conversation around the existing young model, youth centers, and really the big overarching theme was modernization and being contemporary. And this was both in relation to the actual infrastructure that is in existence in terms of the current youth center, as well as the programming that is available. Just to quote the head of the youth center multipurpose youth center in Katutura, he says, we cannot have a youth center where the tailoring program is still teaching people how to make couch covers and toilet paper covers like we used to do in the 90s, You want the computer and digital youth officers, those who are teaching digital skills to young people, to be doing more than Microsoft Word. You want them to be teaching them how to code. You want them to be talking about AI. You really just want them to come into 2026. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do, is to modernize and revamp the centers so that they are relevant to young people today, and therefore retain young people, and that they're not empty. You want young people to come to exciting programs that are relevant to their daily existence.
Just while we're still at that point, I want to understand how, perhaps while we're at it, just maybe some of the issues that young people raised in terms of revamping the center, number one, and how eager are these young people actually in partaking in such projects, or running or maintaining, playing the role to maintain or running the centers?
They were actually quite excited. About a quarter of the participants were young people. And by young people, I mean people who are under the age of 30. Some were actual students in tertiary education, currently students in tertiary education. And they're excited about the youth center. So most of them, or actually all of them, are involved in some sort of youth programming, right? So they had an idea of what they wanted to see. They had a reference point in what they've experienced. And they were also really clear that they like centers to be open for longer. So currently, centers are open up until 5 o'clock. And so one of the things we are proposing in our model is to keep the centers open until midnight, because it's a safe space, it's a place where they can come study, and it's a place where they can interact, learn and grow in a positive way, creating a positive culture and a positive environment for as long as we can during the course of the 24-hour day. Yes.
You see, the plan is to keep these people until midnight, but the security issue comes up. How will they get home,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are the things this is exactly why we did the theory of change, right? So when you say you want to have a center open for 24 hours, what is it? So a conversation then needs to take place between Twamanguluka, who is offering to support government in managing these spaces in terms of the HR support, right? So we say, okay, if government keeps centers open until 5 o'clock and that's the budget, Twamanguluka then needs to seek the budget to say, how do we keep it open from 5 o'clock until midnight? And what transport do we provide? We take buses and take the learners home. Are they young enough? And we create some sort of transport system to make sure that they get home. Is it safe? Do we have parents walking with the children home? We will sit and one of the things that we are actually doing is, as the next steps to the theory of change, is going out into communities and doing a participatory approach in the assessments and the feasibility study. So before the final program is implemented, we've sat with stakeholders within the communities, right? So we're talking about traditional leaders, you're talking about treasury leaders, you're talking about young people themselves, the parents, the local government, and in that conversation, decide how do we want to see this program roll out? What assets already exist? What supports are there? And what supports are needed? You know, so could it be that their bikes and parents are on bikes and they're helping the kids get home? I don't know, but it's something that will be created collectively, because one of the main things that we want to come out of this whole process, as this project comes to implementation, is that it's owned by the community, right? It's not us coming and dictating a program to young people. It's not us creating a parallel system to whatever may exist. It is a collaborative process with community that is owned by the community, with the community, and with us as implementing
With that
agents.
said, is that then a requirement, a funding requirement expected from the community, from participants then? Like funding once it's implemented, is there any fees to all right.
No. So we do not believe that putting in a request, a fee, is going to make it available to everybody. So one of the values of the program is to remove all the barriers to education, all the barriers to human capacity building, all the barriers to experiencing holistic development, right? So definitely putting in fees would be rising up a barrier, so we're not going to offer any fees.
Just in addition to what you highlighted, of course, we do know that education is one of the government's key priorities. So how does this project align with the ministry's national youth and educational priorities?
The program in its entirety literally meets all the ministry's mandates, but also more importantly, it slots in directly into the NDP 6 priority area around human capital development, youth employment, innovation, social well-being, inclusive growth, and improved access to quality education and economic opportunity. So we're working with the ministry, with their mandate, but also supporting the national agenda and making sure that we are supporting a service area in the NDP 6, with human capital.
Yeah. After this theory of change, once you are done with the theory of change, once the step is finalized, like you highlighted earlier, but how will you measure the success of this project in terms of how you'd want the center to look like, after the first 2 years?
Okay, so that one of the main things we did during the process on Monday with the theory of change, we want to see what is the impact that we want to see, what are the indicators, right? So the indicators is how many learners are actually, or how many young people, depending on whether you're in school or out of school, how many people are attending these programs, right? Are we how many of them getting into either formal work or actually starting a business? And in terms of learner outcomes, what are the grades? What is the passing grade? Who are we seeing on the national stage? Who's winning what, who's employed where? These are all things that we will do, we will record and be able to share as impacts of the program.
Just finally, before we let you go,
Yes.
I think one thing we haven't really explored is who is Twamanguluka? What are your objectives and how do you, usually do your work and incorporate it by assisting communities and young people per se? Twamanguluka, it's talking about freedom. So
Exactly, we are free. I founded Twamanguluka back in 2011.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a long time. It's been around for 15 years now. And when originally designed the program and started it, it was supporting capacity building with the young people. So we'd organize funds, we'd apply for proposals, and we trained the National Youth Council Forum leaders. We've trained all sorts of young people who were working with other young people. That was our goal. And now, at this point in time, we're like, let's grow, right? Let's do something bigger, let's have national impact, and let's work directly with young people and support the ministry that is mandated to work with young people by supporting management and supporting program delivery.
Right.
All right.
Marie-Jeanne.